This ancient occult secret reveals which of your four bodies is actually running your life. Ancient esoteric traditions taught that humans are not one being. We are four different beings, living inside one life. And whichever one takes over becomes the you the world sees today. You'll discover which of your four bodies has been in charge, and what happens when the right one finally leads. There's a reason mystery schools existed. Not to keep knowledge from people out of cruelty, but because certain truths are dangerous when misunderstood. The truth I'm about to share with you was encoded in symbols, hidden in plain sight, whispered only to initiates who proved they were ready. The Rosicrucians knew it. The Hermetic masters practiced it. The Egyptian priests guarded it. The Gnostics died protecting it. And it's this: you are not one being, you are four. Four distinct energy bodies, each operating on different frequencies, each with different functions, all stacked on top of each other, like invisible dimensions. Right now, as you listen to this, all four are active. But they're completely out of sync, fighting each other, cancelling each other out, wasting 90% of your energy on internal conflict. This is why you feel stuck, why manifestation doesn't work, why you know what you should do but can't seem to do it. Not because you're broken, because you don't know how to operate the system you're trying to drive, a four-wheel vehicle, when you've only ever used one wheel. By the end of this, you'll understand what each body does, how to activate it, and, most importantly, how to align all four so they work together instead of against each other. This is the knowledge they didn't want you to have. Because a person who masters their four bodies becomes ungovernable. Let's begin. There's a symbol that appears everywhere, and I mean everywhere. Ancient Egypt, Babylon, Greece. It's carved into temple walls, hidden in manuscripts, embedded in the Bible itself. Most people walk past it every single day without knowing what it actually means. It looks like this, a circle with a cross through it. The Egyptians called it the sun symbol. Christians call it the cross. Alchemists knew it as the four elements. You've seen it 1,000 times. But here's what almost nobody tells you. This symbol is a map, a diagnostic tool, a way to read human consciousness. And every ancient mystery school, from the Egyptian priests to the Rosicrucians to the Hermetic orders, they all used this same symbol to teach initiates one crucial truth. You are not one consciousness. You're one consciousness expressing through four distinct bodies, four separate operating systems, each with its own intelligence, its own language, its own way of seeing reality. And right now, as you're watching this, one of those four bodies is completely offline, dormant, dead, and that's the one creating every single problem in your life that you can't seem to solve. Think about it. You know what you should do, but you don't do it. You set intentions, but they don't manifest. You understand things intellectually, but nothing actually changes. That's not because you're broken. That's not because you're lazy or lacking willpower. It's because you're trying to live a four-body life with only three bodies turned on. The ancient initiates could identify which body was missing just by watching someone for a few days. They had tests, rituals, symbols designed specifically to reveal the invisible architecture of consciousness. Today, I'm going to show you what they knew. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which of your four bodies has been sabotaging your life without you even realizing it. Because once you see it, once you identify the missing body, everything changes. Every stuck pattern suddenly makes sense. Every repeated failure has an obvious cause, and more importantly, you'll know exactly how to fix it. This is the knowledge that was reserved for pharaohs and priests. Knowledge that people died protecting. Knowledge that was encoded in symbols because it was too dangerous to write plainly. Now you're going to learn it too. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Egyptian Foundation. Walk into any Egyptian tomb and you'll see them. 4 jars sitting beside the sarcophagus, each one with a different animal head. One has a human head, one has a baboon, one has a jackal, one has a falcon. Egyptologists will tell you these held the deceased's organs, the liver, lungs, stomach, intestines, and they did hold organs. But that's the surface explanation, the exoteric meaning. The story they told to common people who weren't ready for the deeper truth. The esoteric meaning, the one reserved for initiates in the temple, was completely different. These 4 jars represent the 4 bodies of consciousness that must be preserved for resurrection. Not physical resurrection, but consciousness resurrection, the awakening of your full potential. Let me break down what each one actually represents, because this changes everything. The 4 Sons of Horus. The first jar is Imseti. It has a human head and held the liver. The ancient Egyptians believed the liver was the seat of thought and planning, the organ that processes, that filters, just like your mind processes and filters reality. The human head on this jar represents rational consciousness, the part of you that thinks, analyzes, creates mental models of the world. This is your mental body, associated with air. Thoughts are like wind, invisible, constantly moving, shaping everything they touch. When this body is strong, you see possibilities beyond your circumstances. You think strategically. Reality feels flexible. When it's weak, mental fog, confusion, indecision, limiting beliefs that feel like truth, feeling boxed in. The second jar has a baboon head. It held the lungs. The Egyptians connected breath with emotional state. The baboon was sacred to Thoth. Not for intellectual wisdom, but emotional wisdom. This is your emotional body, associated with water. Emotions flow like water, calm or turbulent, taking shape based on their container. Modern science confirms this. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field extending 5 to 8 feet around you. Your emotional state literally broadcasts outward. When this body is strong, you attract effortlessly. People are drawn to you. Synchronicities appear. Manifestation becomes magnetic. When it's weak, numbness or overwhelm. Nothing manifests. You repel what you want. People feel uneasy without knowing why. The third jar has a jackal head. It held the stomach. The stomach digests and transforms material into energy. The jackal represents Anubis, the physical realm. This is your physical body, associated with earth, solid, stable, material. When it's strong, you take action. Ideas become real, you have energy and grounding. When it's weak, endless ideas but nothing built, floating through life. Exhaustion despite inaction, no foundation. The fourth jar has a falcon head, and it holds the intestines. The Egyptians associated the intestines with transformation, with transmutation. And the falcon was Horus himself, the god who could see from above, who had divine perspective, who represented the higher self. This is your spiritual body. The Egyptians associated it with fire. Not the fire you see burning wood, but the invisible fire that animates matter, the life force itself. When your spiritual body is strong, you feel connected to something larger than yourself. You have access to intuition, to knowing that goes beyond logic. You create from a place of flow. Life has meaning. When it's weak or offline, you feel alone, disconnected, like life is meaningless. You're completely identified with your physical form. You fear death because you think you are the body. No intuitive guidance whatsoever. You're stuck in logic, alone, which is like trying to navigate with one eye closed. But why does this matter? Now here's what the Egyptian ancients understood that's been completely lost in the modern world. Most people are walking around with 1 or 2 of these jars completely empty. They're trying to live a full life with half their consciousness turned off and the jar that's empty. That's creating their invisible ceiling. That's why they keep hitting the same wall over and over again. Imagine trying to drive a car with 1 wheel missing. You can press the gas pedal all you want. You can have the best intentions. but you're not moving forward. You're going in circles, burning energy, getting nowhere. That's what happens when one of your four bodies is offline. The Egyptian ancients were so serious about this that they wouldn't even begin someone's training until they'd identified which body was weak. Because trying to develop spiritually with a weak foundation was seen as dangerous. It would create imbalance, delusion, false awakening. They had to diagnose first, then correct, then advance. But now let's talk about why they built the pyramids with such insane precision. 4 sides, 4 corners, perfectly aligned to the 4 cardinal directions, north, east, south, west. You've been told the pyramids are tombs. They're not. There are no bodies in them, no treasure, no burial chambers in the traditional sense. The sarcophagus inside the king's chamber, that was never a coffin. It's too short for a body lying flat. It has no lid. It has acoustic properties that create specific resonance frequencies. It was an initiation chamber. Initiates would lie in that stone box and undergo what the Egyptians called death before death. A practice where you consciously separate your 4 bodies while still alive. Why would anyone do this? Because you can't master something you can't observe. You can't control something you can't see. By temporarily separating their 4 bodies, through breathwork, through sound frequencies, through consciousness techniques that have been lost, initiates could feel each body independently. They could understand what each one does. They could identify which one was weak. And then they could learn to bring all 4 back together in perfect alignment. This is what resurrection actually meant in the Egyptian tradition. Not physical resurrection. Not coming back from literal death. Consciousness dying to fragmentation and being reborn as integration. All 4 bodies awakening and operating as one unified system. The 4 directions, why it matters. The pyramid alignment wasn't random. Each direction activated a specific body. North, the direction where stars never set, always visible, always guiding. This represented the mental body. Air, eternal wisdom, unchanging truth. East, the direction of sunrise where light is born each day. This represented the spiritual body. Fire, awakening, illumination, the divine spark. South, the direction where the Nile flows, bringing life-giving water to Egypt. This represented the emotional body. Water, the flow of feeling, of magnetic force. West, the direction of sunset, where the sun enters the underworld, where transformation happens in darkness. This represented the physical body earth. Matter, form, death, and rebirth in the physical realm. And here's something you can test yourself. The ancients understood that physical space affects consciousness. When you face different directions, you activate different bodies. This is why monks meditate facing east, why traditional scholars studied facing north, why emotional healing work was done facing south, why physical manifestation rituals faced west. This isn't superstition. It's applied understanding of how your biofield interacts with directional energy. The secret name of Ra. There's an Egyptian myth about Isis tricking Ra into revealing his secret name. The story says Ra had a secret name that held all his power, and Isis wanted that power for herself. So she created a serpent to bite Ra. As he suffered from the poison, she offered to heal him, but only if he revealed his true name. Most people read this as just another myth about gods and trickery. The esoteric interpretation is completely different. Ra's secret name wasn't a word. It was the formula. The understanding that consciousness operates like the sun, generating 4 types of energy simultaneously. Ra equals the sun equals your soul. Same word in Latin, soul. And the sun doesn't produce one type of energy. It produces 4 distinct types. Thermal radiation, the heat you feel. This corresponds to fire, to your spiritual body. Visible light, the spectrum you see. This corresponds to air, to your mental body. Electromagnetic waves, frequencies you can't see but that affect you. UV rays, radio waves. This corresponds to water, to your emotional body. Gravitational force, the invisible pull that holds planets in orbit. This corresponds to Earth, to your physical body. 4 types of energy from one source. And you do the exact same thing. You're not just a body walking around, you're a consciousness generator producing 4 distinct types of energy that create your entire experience of reality. When Isis learned Ra's secret name, she learned this formula, and the texts say she gained power over Ra himself, not power over an external god, power over her own consciousness. The ability to direct all 4 bodies instead of being controlled by whichever one was screaming loudest. This is the knowledge that was hidden in the mystery schools. This is what they encoded in symbols, in myths, in rituals that looked like religion to outsiders, but were actually consciousness technology. And now you know it too. The Greeks inherited this knowledge from Egypt and systematized it. They called the 4 bodies the 4 elements: earth, water, air, fire. Most people think these are primitive attempts to classify physical matter, like ancient people didn't know about the periodic table, so they made up 4 elements. That's completely wrong. The 4 elements aren't physical substances, they're energy states. And I can prove this to you right now with something you can observe yourself. Take water, just plain water. That water can exist in 4 completely different states. State 1, ice. Freeze the water, and it becomes solid, rigid, locked in place. What's happening at the molecular level? The water molecules have slowed down so much that they've locked into a crystalline structure. They can barely move. They're frozen. This is what Earth energy actually is. Consciousness that has crystallized into fixed form. Your physical body is consciousness in this state. Energy vibrating so slowly it appears solid. Frozen light, if you will. State 2. Liquid water. Heat the ice, and it melts. Now the molecules can move past each other, but they still maintain cohesion. The water flows, adapts, takes the shape of whatever contains it. This is what water energy actually is. Consciousness in a fluid, responsive state. Your emotional body is consciousness in this state. Not fixed like matter, but not invisible either. Flowing, feeling, magnetic. State 3. Steam. Heat the water more and it evaporates. Now the molecules are moving so fast they barely interact. They fill all available space. They're invisible but undeniably real. This is what air energy actually is. Consciousness in a formless, expansive state. Your mental body is consciousness in this state. Thoughts that arise, expand, dissipate. Not solid, not even fluid, but gaseous, filling your awareness. State 4. Plasma. Heat it even further and you reach the 4th state of matter that most people don't even know exists. In plasma, electrons are stripped from atoms. Matter becomes ionized, generating its own electromagnetic field. It's no longer governed by normal molecular laws. This is what fire energy actually is. Consciousness in pure energetic state, beyond form. Your spiritual body is consciousness in this state. Not matter, not thought, not feeling, but pure awareness, generating its own field. This is the state of stars, of lightning, of the sun itself, energy becoming visible. So when the ancients talked about the 4 elements, they weren't being primitive. They were describing actual states of energy that modern physics has now confirmed. Solid, liquid, gas, plasma, earth, water, air, fire. Same thing, different language. As above, so below, the real meaning. Hermes Trismegistus, the legendary Egyptian priest the Greeks called Thoth, supposedly wrote this in the emerald tablet, "As above, so below, as within, so without." Everyone thinks this is mystical poetry. It's not. It's physics. What he's saying is this: the pattern of the macrocosm repeats in the microcosm. The structure you see at large scales appears at small scales too. Look at the sun, the macrocosm. It generates 4 types of energy: thermal radiation, visible light, electromagnetic waves, gravitational force. Look at you, the microcosm. You generate 4 types of energy: spiritual consciousness, mental thought, emotional field, physical presence. Same pattern, same physics, different scale. This is why the ancients studied astronomy so intensely, not because they thought planets controlled their destiny, but because they understood that cosmic patterns reveal consciousness patterns. The sun shows you how your consciousness works. The planets show you the cycles your consciousness moves through. The stars show you the map of infinite possibilities. And once you understand the pattern, you can work with it instead of being controlled by it. The Philosopher's Stone, what they were really seeking. Medieval alchemists spent their entire lives trying to create the Philosopher's Stone, the legendary substance that could turn lead into gold. The church thought they were trying to make literal gold. That's why they hunted alchemists, burned their books, and drove the knowledge underground. But the esoteric truth is this: lead and gold are symbols. Lead represents unconscious humanity, someone operating with only 1 or 2 bodies activated. Heavy, dull, unrealized potential. Gold represents awakened consciousness, someone with all 4 bodies integrated, bright, refined, fully actualized. The Philosopher's Stone wasn't a physical substance. It was the knowledge of how to transform from lead to gold, from fragmented to integrated, from unconscious to awakened. And they encoded the process in 4 stages, each corresponding to 1 element. Stage 1. Nigredo, the blackening. Earth work. Confronting your physical reality without illusion. Facing your shadow, your circumstances, the dense material truth of your life. It feels dark, heavy, like death. That's why it's called the blackening. Stage 2, albedo, the whitening, waterwork, purifying your emotional body, releasing trauma stored in your cellular water, clearing the stuck emotions blocking your magnetic field. It's called whitening because it's a washing, a purification. Stage 3, citrinitas, the yellowing, air work, restructuring your mental body, questioning every belief you inherited, installing new frameworks that expand what you see as possible. It's called yellowing because it's the dawn, solar consciousness breaking through mental clouds. Stage 4, rubedo, the reddening, firework, activating your spiritual body, experiencing yourself as consciousness, not just form, connecting to source, the unified field of infinite intelligence. It's called reddening because fire has fully ignited. And here's what the alchemists understood that most people miss. You cannot skip stages. If you try to activate fire before Earth is stable, you create what mystics call spiritual emergency. Energy floods unprepared channels, causing chaos instead of awakening, delusion instead of enlightenment. If you try to reprogram air while water is blocked with unprocessed emotion, you just create new mental prisons to avoid feeling what's underneath. The sequence isn't arbitrary. It's based on how energy actually moves through consciousness. Earth must be stable before water can flow cleanly. Water must be clear before air can think clearly. Air must be restructured before fire can safely activate. This is why the mystery schools had strict initiation sequences. Not because they were elitist, but because they understood that premature activation causes harm, not healing. Why this matters for you right now? Let me make this practical. You want to start a business, but you can't seem to take action. You keep planning, researching, thinking about it, but nothing moves forward. Diagnosis: your earth body is weak. All that mental energy has nowhere to ground. Solution: stop reading more books, stop planning more. Take one physical action today. even if it's imperfect, even if you don't feel ready. Activate Earth through doing, not thinking. Or maybe you're taking massive action, hustling hard, doing all the right things, but nothing manifests. No results, no momentum. Diagnosis. Your water body is weak or offline. You're creating through force, not magnetism. Solution. Stop pushing, start feeling. Spend 10 minutes before sleep feeling what it would be like if your desire were already real, not visualizing. Feeling that emotional frequency is what magnetizes your reality. Or perhaps you have energy and you feel good, but you keep sabotaging yourself with thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or success isn't for people like me. Diagnosis. Your air body is running inherited programming. From parents, from past failures, from cultural conditioning. Solution. Question every limiting belief. Write down where it came from. See that it's not truth, it's just repeated thought. Then consciously install a new belief through repetition and evidence gathering. Or maybe you're successful by every external measure, but you feel empty, like there's no point, like you're going through the motions without meaning. Diagnosis. Your fire body is completely offline. You're achieving in the material world while spiritually dead. Solution. Connect to something larger than yourself. Ask, what would make my soul feel alive? Not what should I do, but what calls to me. Follow that call, even if it makes no logical sense. See how this works? When you understand the four-body system, you can diagnose exactly where your problem is and apply the precise solution. You stop trying everything randomly, hoping something sticks. You become surgical in your approach to transformation. Now let's decode the Bible, not as religion, but as encoded occult knowledge. Most Christians read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John as four historical accounts of Jesus' life, four perspectives on the same story. But the early church fathers, before Christianity was standardized by the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, said something completely different. They stated explicitly that the four Gospels represent the four bodies of consciousness. Irenaeus, writing in 180 AD, said, "It is not possible that the Gospels can be either more or fewer in number than they are. For there are four zones of the world in which we live, and four principal winds." He wasn't talking about geography or weather. He was encoding occult knowledge that couldn't be spoken plainly, because the Roman Empire was hunting and killing Gnostics, mystics, anyone teaching esoteric truth. The Church Fathers assigned each gospel a mystical creature from Ezekiel's vision. These four creatures appear together in Revelation. The first living creature was like a lion, the second was like an ox, the third had a face like a man, the fourth was like a flying eagle. Let me decode what each one represents. Matthew the man, your mental body. Open Matthew and what do you see? Teachings, parables, the Sermon on the Mount, logical arguments about the kingdom of heaven, Jesus as philosopher and teacher. This is the mental body gospel, the activation of air, higher thought, expanded perception. The symbol is the man, rational consciousness, intellect capable of grasping divine truth. In Hebrew, mysticism, this is ruach, the breath, the wind of the mind. Matthew shows what happens when the mental body awakens. You see reality differently. Old beliefs lose power. New possibilities open. Mark, the lion, your spiritual body. Open Mark. The energy shifts instantly. Action, miracles, exorcisms, almost no teaching, just movements of power. This is the spiritual body gospel, the activation of fire, divine force, consciousness overriding physical law. The symbol is the lion, spiritual authority, divine will. In Hebrew mysticism, this is neshama, the divine soul. Mark shows what happens when the spiritual body activates, intuitive knowing increases. Reality bends to focused intention. You create from alignment, not effort. Luke, the ox, your physical body. Luke emphasizes Jesus' humanity, healing bodies, serving physical needs, the material aspects of life. This is the physical body gospel. The activation of earth, matter, grounded service. The symbol is the ox, work, manifestation, embodiment. In Hebrew mysticism, this is nephesh, the life force in the body. Luke shows what happens when the physical body aligns, spirit becomes matter. Ideas become physical reality. Healing happens in form. John, the eagle, your emotional body. John is the most mystical and intimate. Love, unity, connection, divine relationship. This is the emotional body gospel, the activation of water, intuition, heart consciousness. The symbol is the eagle, high vision, emotional clarity, intuitive wisdom. In Hebrew mysticism, this is chaya, the living essence. John shows what happens when the emotional body opens. You feel connected to all things. Love becomes a force. Synchronicities multiply. Your field becomes coherent and magnetic. Why this matters for you right now? Let me make this practical. You want to start a business, but you can't seem to take action. You keep planning, researching, thinking about it, but nothing moves forward. Diagnosis. Your earth body is weak. All that mental energy has nowhere to ground. Solution. Stop reading more books. Stop planning more. Take one physical action today, even if it's imperfect, even if you don't feel ready. Activate earth through doing, not thinking. Or maybe you're taking massive action, hustling hard, doing all the right things, but nothing manifests. No results, no momentum. Diagnosis. Your water body is weak or offline. You're creating through force, not magnetism. Solution. Stop pushing, start feeling. Spend 10 minutes before sleep feeling what it would be like if your desire was already real. Not visualizing, feeling. That emotional frequency is what magnetizes your reality. Or perhaps you have energy and you feel good, but you keep sabotaging yourself with thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or success isn't for people like me. Diagnosis. Your air body is running inherited programming from parents, from past failures, from cultural conditioning. Solution. Question every limiting belief. Write down where it came from. See that it's not truth, it's just repeated thought. Then consciously install a new belief through repetition and evidence gathering. Or maybe you're successful by every external measure, but you feel empty, like there's no point, like you're going through motions without meaning. Diagnosis. Your fire body is completely offline. You're achieving in the material world while spiritually dead. Solution. Connect to something larger than yourself. Ask, what would make my soul feel alive? Not, what should I do, but what calls to me? Follow that call, even if it makes no logical sense. See how this works. When you understand the four-body system, you can diagnose exactly where your problem is and apply the precise solution. You stop trying everything randomly, hoping something sticks. You become surgical in your approach to transformation. Now let's decode the Bible, not as religion, but as encoded occult knowledge. Most Christians read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John as four historical accounts of Jesus' life. Four different perspectives on the same story. But the early church fathers, before Christianity was standardized by the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, said something completely different. They explicitly stated that the four Gospels represent the four bodies of consciousness. Irenaeus, writing in 180 AD, said, "It is not possible that the Gospels can be either more or fewer in number than they are. For there are four zones of the world in which we live, and four principal winds." He wasn't talking about geography or weather. He was encoding occult knowledge that couldn't be spoken plainly because the Roman Empire was hunting and killing Gnostics, mystics, anyone teaching esoteric truth. The Church Fathers assigned each gospel a mystical creature from Ezekiel's vision. These 4 creatures appear together in one verse in Revelation. The first living creature was like a lion. The second was like an ox. The third had a face like a man. The fourth was like a flying eagle. Let me decode what each one actually represents. Matthew, the man. Your mental body. Open the Gospel of Matthew. What do you see? Teachings, parables, the Sermon on the Mount, logical arguments about the kingdom of heaven. Jesus as philosopher, teacher, revealer of hidden knowledge through words. This is the mental body gospel. The activation of air, of higher thought, of expanded perception. The symbol is the man, representing rational consciousness, human intellect capable of grasping divine truth. In Hebrew mysticism, this is called ruach, the breath of thought, the wind of the mind. Matthew is showing you what happens when your mental body awakens. You start seeing reality differently. Old beliefs lose their power. New possibilities open. What seemed impossible yesterday becomes obviously possible today. Mark, the lion, your spiritual body. Now open Mark, completely different energy. Action, miracles, exorcisms. Jesus doesn't spend time teaching in Mark. He's moving fast, performing acts that defy physical laws, displaying spiritual power over matter. This is the spiritual body gospel, the activation of fire, of divine power, of consciousness that can affect reality directly. The symbol is the lion, king of beasts, representing spiritual authority and divine will in human form. In Hebrew mysticism, this is called neshama, the divine soul that connects you to source. Mark is showing you what happens when your spiritual body activates. You gain access to intuitive knowing. You can influence reality through focused intention. You experience yourself as consciousness, not just body. You stop creating from effort and start creating from alignment. Luke, the ox, your physical body. Luke's gospel emphasizes Jesus' humanity, his physical acts of service, his healing of bodies, his care for the material needs of the poor and sick. This is the physical body gospel, the activation of earth, of matter, of consciousness fully inhabiting form. The symbol is the ox, beast of burden, representing physical work, material manifestation, grounded service in the world. In Hebrew mysticism, this is called nephesh, the animal soul, the life force in the body. Luke is showing you what happens when your physical body aligns with the others. Spirit manifests into matter. Ideas become real. Healing happens in the physical realm, not just the spiritual. John, the eagle, your emotional body. John's gospel is the most mystical. It focuses on love, unity, connection. Jesus' longest discourses in John are about abiding in love, about the intimate relationship between himself, the Father, and his disciples. This is the emotional body gospel, the activation of water, of heart consciousness, of the magnetic force that connects all things. The symbol is the eagle, soaring above, seeing all from height, representing intuition, emotional wisdom, heart-centered knowing. In Hebrew mysticism, this is called chaya, the living essence, the feeling of being alive. John is showing you what happens when your emotional body opens. You feel connected to everything. Love becomes a tangible force, not just a concept. You create through magnetic attraction. Synchronicities explode because your field is clear and coherent. The hidden message. Here's what the 4 Gospels are actually telling you. You need all 4, not just spiritual power, not just mental understanding, not just emotional connection, not just physical action. All 4 working together, integrated as one. This is what the body of Christ actually means in esoteric Christianity. Not a church institution, your four bodies unified into one coherent system, just like Jesus demonstrated. Son of God versus Son of God. The etymology. Now here's where it gets really interesting. In English, son and son are pronounced exactly the same. When you hear someone say the Son of God, you're hearing the Son of God. And this isn't just an English coincidence, it's true across languages. In Latin, solis means son, and it shares a root with solus, which means soul or alone, the singular essence. In Greek, helios means sun, and it's where we get the word halo, that circle of light you see around saints' heads in Christian art. In Sanskrit, Surya means sun, and Atman means soul. And both are described as self-luminous, generating their own light. When Jesus says in John 8:12, I am the light of the world, listen to what you're actually hearing. I am the Son of the world. Not a light among many. The light, solar language. And then in Matthew 5:14, he says to his followers, you are the light of the world. He's not claiming to be unique. He's describing a state of consciousness that all humans can achieve. The Son of God is solar consciousness, the awakened state where you realize you're not separate from Source. You're a localized expression of infinite consciousness, generating reality through four emanations, just like the sun generates four types of energy. This is why Christian art shows Jesus with a halo, that golden circle of light around his head. That's not symbolic decoration, it's artists encoding occult knowledge. Awakened consciousness literally produces measurable light. Science calls them biophotons, ultra-weak photon emissions from living cells. The ancients couldn't measure this with instruments, but they could perceive it. People with fully activated spiritual bodies literally look different. So there's a quality of presence, of aliveness, of light. The halo is the esoteric tradition's way of saying, this person's spiritual body is fully online. The cross, the original meaning. Everyone thinks the cross is about crucifixion, about Jesus' death. That's the exoteric story taught to the masses. The esoteric meaning predates Christianity by thousands of years. The cross is the same symbol we started with, the circle with a cross through it. Look at its structure. The vertical line runs from bottom to top, from earth to fire, from material to spiritual. The horizontal line runs left to right, from air to water, from thought to feeling. And where they intersect? That's you. The point where all four bodies meet. When the Bible describes Jesus being crucified between two thieves, here's the occult reading. Jesus represents integrated consciousness, all four bodies aligned and working together. The two thieves represent duality, the split between thought and feeling, between matter and spirit. The crucifixion represents the death of the false self, the ego that identifies with only one body. The resurrection represents the birth of true self, integrated solar consciousness. And the 3 days in the tomb? That's the alchemical process moving through earth, water, and air before fire fully activates on the third day. This isn't history. This is psychological and spiritual initiation encoded as story. It's a map showing you what happens when you integrate your four bodies. The Lord's Prayer, a four-body activation sequence. Look at the Lord's Prayer through this lens. Our Father who art in heaven, invoking fire, connecting to spiritual source above. Hallowed be thy name, recognizing sacred truth, activating air, mental clarity. Give us this day our daily bread, requesting material sustenance, acknowledging earth, physical needs. Forgive us our trespasses, emotional clearing, releasing guilt and shame, purifying water. It's not a prayer to an external God. It's an activation sequence for your four bodies. This is why it was taught to be repeated daily. Not because God needs to hear it, but because you need to activate all four bodies consistently to maintain integration. Chapter 4. Nature's Proof. If this four-body system is real, if it's actually how consciousness works, then you'd expect to see the pattern everywhere in nature. Not as coincidence, but as fundamental architecture. And that's exactly what we find. DNA, 4 base pairs. Your genetic code, the instruction manual for building your entire body, is written in 4 letters. Just 4. Adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine. A, T, C, G. Every instruction for your eyes, your brain, your heart, everything, arises from combinations of these 4 base pairs. Why 4? The ancients would say, because your physical DNA is a hologram of your consciousness structure. As above, so below. As within, so without. Look at the correspondence. Adenine creates structural proteins, forming the foundation of your biological architecture. This corresponds to Earth, building, structuring, creating form. Thymine is involved in bonding and connection between DNA strands. This corresponds to water, relationship, connection, magnetic attraction. Cytosine carries and transmits information, creating patterns and codes. This corresponds to air, information, pattern, mental architecture. Guanine enables transcription, translating DNA into RNA into protein. It's the activator, the transformer. This corresponds to fire, activation, transformation, life force. Your physical DNA follows the same 4-fold pattern as your consciousness. And here's what's wild. When you change your consciousness, your beliefs, your emotional state, you literally change your genetic expression. This isn't mysticism anymore. It's called epigenetics, and it's mainstream science. The 4 seasons. Earth has 4 distinct seasons: spring, summer, autumn, winter. Why? Because Earth is tilted 23.5 degrees on its axis as it orbits the Sun. That tilt creates 4 distinct energy phases throughout the year. But watch how the seasons mirror consciousness development. Spring, seeds break through soil, new growth emerges, ideas sprout. This is the season of mental awakening, of air, of possibility. What if? Thinking fresh perspectives. This is your mental body's season. Summer, full expression. The sun at its peak. Maximum growth. Creation flowing. This is the season of spiritual activation, of fire, of purpose in action. This is your spiritual body's season. Autumn, harvest time, processing what grew, trees releasing what no longer serves. This is the season of emotional wisdom, of water, of feeling deeply and letting go. This is your emotional body's season. Winter, rest, dormancy. Seeds in dark earth, gestation before rebirth. This is the season of physical restoration, of earth, of silence and regeneration. This is your physical body's season. You go through these seasons internally, whether or not they match the external calendar. Right now, one of your bodies might be in winter, needing rest. One might be in spring, with new growth emerging. One in summer, in full expression. One in autumn, releasing old patterns. When you fight against which season you're in, you create suffering. When you honor it, you flow. The moon's 4 phases. The moon cycles through 4 distinct phases every 28 days. New moon, waxing moon, full moon, and waning moon. And here's what ancient cultures understood. Your 4 bodies respond to lunar phases. New moon, darkness, no visible light. This is earth time. Plant seeds in dark soil. Set physical intentions. Start new projects. Take the first action. Waxing moon, growing larger each night. This is water time. Build emotional momentum. Feel your desire becoming real. Strengthen your magnetic field. Full moon, peak illumination, maximum light. This is fire time. Spiritual activation at its height. Manifestation happens. What was planted becomes visible. Waning moon, decreasing, returning to darkness. This is air time. Mental processing, reflection, understanding what you created, integrating lessons. Women's menstrual cycles average 28 days, exactly 1 lunar month. This isn't coincidence. The moon's gravitational field affects water on Earth, creating tides. Your body is 70% water. Of course, the moon affects you too. Your emotional body, your water, is especially sensitive to lunar phases. This is why people report heightened emotions during full moons, strange dreams during phase transitions, and difficulty sleeping during new moons. The ancients tracked the moon obsessively because they understood one thing. Working with lunar cycles instead of against them dramatically increases your effectiveness. The heart's 4 chambers. Your heart has 4 chambers, 2 atria and 2 ventricles. The right side handles deoxygenated blood. The left side handles oxygenated blood. But here's what modern science has now proven. Your heart doesn't just pump blood. It generates the strongest electromagnetic field in your body. The HeartMath Institute has measured this extensively. Your heart creates an electromagnetic field that extends 5 to 8 feet beyond your physical body. It's 60 times stronger than your brain's electrical field. And this field changes based on your emotional state. When you feel love, gratitude, appreciation, your heart creates a smooth, coherent wave pattern. When you feel anger, fear, stress, your heart creates a chaotic, jagged wave pattern. Other people's nervous systems detect this field unconsciously. This is why you can feel someone's mood when they walk into a room before they say anything. You're sensing their heart's electromagnetic signature. The 4 chambers aren't just anatomy. They're the architecture of your emotional broadcast system, your water body's transmission device. When your emotional body is clear and coherent, you broadcast an attractive magnetic field. Opportunities flow to you. People want to be near you. Reality seems to rearrange itself in your favor. When your emotional body is blocked or chaotic, you broadcast interference. People unconsciously want to step back. Opportunities don't come. You have to force everything. You're not manifesting through thoughts alone. You're manifesting through your electromagnetic signature, broadcast by your heart. Now we get to what actually matters, freeing the prisoner, integrating all 4. You can't kill the tyrant. You can't override it with willpower. It's been running the show for decades, but you can negotiate. And you can invite the prisoner to speak. Step 1. Name the tyrant. Next time you need to make a decision, pause. Ask, which body is responding right now? Mental? I need more information first. Emotional? Something feels off about this. Physical? I'm not ready. I haven't done this before. Spiritual? I'm waiting for clearer guidance. Just naming it creates separation. You are not the tyrant. You are the awareness that can observe the tyrant. Step 2. Thank it. The tyrant is trying to protect you. Outdated strategy, yes, but trying. Acknowledge it. Mental body, I see you're trying to protect me from mistakes. Thank you. Emotional body, I see you're trying to protect me from rejection. Thank you. Physical body, I see you're trying to protect me from disappointment. Thank you. Spiritual body, I see you're trying to protect me from harsh reality. Thank you. Not therapy language, negotiation. You're not fighting. You're acknowledging concern. Step 3. Invite the prisoner. Now turn to the body you can't hear. If physical is prisoner, put feet on the ground. Feel them actually making contact. Take 3 deep breaths into the belly. Feel the lungs expand. Stand. Move. 30 seconds. Physical body learns through doing, not thinking. If emotional is prisoner, sit with one emotion for 5 minutes. Don't analyze, don't explain, just feel. Hand on heart. Feel the actual beating. Make sound if needed. Cry, sigh, groan. Emotional body needs permission to exist. If mental is prisoner, question 1, belief, just 1. Where did this come from? Is it actually true? Write it down. See it as a thought, not a truth. Ask, what if the opposite were true? What would that make possible? Mental body needs permission to think differently. If spiritual is prisoner, sit in silence for 5 minutes. Watch thoughts pass. Notice, you are not thoughts. You are what's watching the thoughts. Feel into the question, is there something larger than this individual self? Spiritual body needs permission to connect. The 8-minute integration. Every morning before the phone, 8 minutes total. Minutes 1 to 2, physical. Feel the body, breathe deeply, move. Minutes 3 to 4, emotional, check in. What am I feeling? Don't analyze, just feel. Minutes 5 to 6, mental. Set intention, what am I creating today? See it clearly. Minutes 7 to 8, spiritual, connect. Feel yourself as consciousness, not just form. That's it. Do this for 30 days. Watch what happens. Not because you achieve more, but because you operate at full capacity. All 4 bodies online, working together instead of fighting. Decisions become clear. Energy flows instead of leaks. Creation becomes natural. If the hidden body steering your life finally stepped out of the shadows today, anchor that awakening. Declare in the comments, my alignment begins now. That statement marks the moment you stop being governed and start governing. If this truth stirred something ancient in you, signal it. Press like, not as a gesture of support, but as a beacon that tells the algorithm this message must be carried to those still wandering blind. And if you're done living at the mercy of forces you never chose, subscribe. What we do here is not passive learning. It's a dismantling and a rebirth. And rebirth requires commitment. For those who want the forbidden frameworks, the deeper architecture, the unfiltered logic behind the 4 bodies and every system that shapes you, enter the Philosophical Essence newsletter. That is where the things unspoken on this channel live. Send this video to the one person in your orbit who is finally ready to confront themselves without flinching. Then keep moving. Your ascent doesn't pause here. The next video is already open. And if you understood what was revealed today, you know it's the next piece of your reconstruction.